Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe is approaching her 6th Christmas detained in Iran and away from her daughter Gabriella and husband Richard, who has campaigned tirelessly for her release.
Now, the family have collaborated with the pop group The Christians to rework one of their hits and release a single in support of Nazanin. It's called Naz Don't Cry. Shall we have a listen?
Yeah.
So Naz don't cry. Naz don't cry. Such a clear case of injustice.
Well, I'm very pleased that Richard and Gabriella join us now. Lovely to see both of you this morning, although I'm not pleased that we still have to talk about the same thing, Richard, and that we are facing, and you are facing as a family, this terrible separation for yet another Christmas. How are you feeling about it and how are you preparing for it?
Good morning. Yes, as you say, this is Christmas number 6 apart. Gabriella obviously here a lot bigger now, properly excited about Christmas. And, you know, I think actually after the year we've had, us as a family, the country more broadly, it's been quite important this year to celebrate it. So as you can see, we've got quite a lot of decorations up behind us. Yeah. Had lots of care in different ways. And we will be trying to sort of celebrate it. Quite hard for Nazanin being away. Certainly been tearful the last couple of days. It's the sort of realisation that she's stuck there and not able to come home. But I think actually it's important to hold on to the good times amongst, you know, journeys like ours.
Last year, Gabriella wrote a letter to the Prime Minister that said, "Dear Boris Johnson, please can you bring my mummy home for Christmas? She has been good. When she comes back, I want to cuddle her first and then go to the toy shop with her. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Love, Gabriella." And that is part of the pressure that I know you've all been, you know, trying to apply to the government to make something happen. It's actually quite a confusing story in the sense that it involves a debt that Britain owes Iran for an order of some tanks in the 70s. There's been some suggestion that debt could be paid in the form of vaccines to Iran, which might trigger Nazanin's release. Is that realistic, and could that happen?
Yeah, you're right. It's as is a story with a backstory, which is that Nazanin was taken in order to get the UK to pay some money back. And actually, about 2 weeks ago, the Iranian ambassador met with Tulip Sadiq, who's our MP, and did talk about this, and there are ways in which this could be settled that the UK could deal with, including humanitarian aid or vaccines and so on, medicines and so on. I mean, how realistic? It's a fair question. The Iranian authorities have said different things at different points. The British government is certainly very coy and cagey about what the problem is and why it isn't solved. Certainly, we live in hope. I mean, as you say, a year ago, Gabriella wrote that letter saying, "I want my back and come on, Boris Johnson, and you know, I want to go to the toy shop." He clearly still does want to go to toy shops, and it would be lovely to have Nazanin home as soon as possible.
We just saw Gabriella, I don't know if you were, Richard, just yawning there, being like any normal 7-year-old that's been got up early by her dad to chat, and it's lovely to see her so happy. And you have to take some credit in all of this, Richard, which we know we've talked about before, in trying to keep some sense of normal in which is what a horrifically abnormal situation. How did your involvement in the single come about? Because I believe this track was originally recorded and used when John McCarthy was taken hostage, and he has since said how much comfort it brought him hearing about things like this. Are you hoping in a way that Nazanin will get comfort from knowing that things like this are happening?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's one of the most important things those of us on the outside can do is to let those going through horrific situations know that they're not forgotten and that we all care for them. And certainly, someone came up to us when I was doing the hunger strike and said, "Listen, the band, the Christians, were interested in reworking their single and releasing it, and were we interested?" And it was lovely. When I was sitting on the pavement, not quite thinking straight, and we went up to Liverpool after the hunger strike and yeah, had a lovely time with him in the studio. Happy time whacking on the drums and me trying to sing in tune. And all of these things, I mean, I think John McCarthy's absolutely right. All of these things make a real difference for keeping spirits up, and just for knowing that however long this goes on for, you know, people have not forgotten her.
I'm not 100% sure Gabriella can hear us, but I did see her smiling when I mentioned the yawning. Oh, you will wish her a Merry Christmas from us, won't you? And what's on her... Obviously, her mummy home is the big one. What's on her Santa list this year?
There's quite a long list this year, and as you say, I said, well, you know, you obviously want mummy home. I said, well, yeah, not just that though. So there was, Sylvanian families have made it on. We do quite a bit of reworking our Christmas list. Now, that happens in other houses where, you know, we don't want to fix it just yet. So we've got the latest version. There's a bit of Lego and lots of Sylvanian families, but I don't think we've quite closed yet all the things we want.
OK. It's always nice to speak to you, Richard, and all the best, and we hope this is resolved in the way that we all want it to be resolved as soon as it realistically can be. Thank you. Happy Christmas. As happy as it can be, Richard, and great to see Gabriella too. Thank you.
Lovely to see both of you.
A spokesperson for the Foreign Office told us... Thank you. A spokesperson for the Foreign Office told us we're working hard to secure Nazanin's release and call on Iran to do so urgently. Iran's decision to proceed with baseless charges against her is an appalling continuation of her cruel ordeal, and she must be allowed to return home to her family. They went on to say the Foreign Secretary and senior officials consistently raise the cases of Nazanin and others who are detained with the Iranian authorities and will continue to do so.
Yeah.
Still to come.
It's a very little comfort, though, isn't it? But so lovely to see Gabriella.
Really was, yeah.
Unfortunately, growing up before our eyes because of this situation, but looking happy and normal and healthy as best you can.